Hello, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod. Hi! We are a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we have read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week, we read Gugure Kokkuri-san, chapters 1 through 28, volumes 1 through 3. Probably didn't spell it right, so you should look in the title of this to know the right way to do it. I am Erin of Happily Erin, your host, and with me are two of my three lovely co-hosts, as well as a very special guest. So we're going to go around and introduce yourselves, please.
Hello, I'm Dodger, and I'm excited to talk about Gugure Kokkuri-san, because I love it. Spoilers.
Wow.
My name's Lou, and I'm from Lou Talks Anime, and spoilers, I don't love it.
I know. So I can't wait.
We gonna fight, Dodger.
And our lovely guest.
Hi, I'm Callum. God.
That's it.
You asked me
to
say what I do, but I've got no idea. I make videos about anime on the internet.
Yep. Yes.
Sometimes about industry.
Let's be more specific,
Yeah.
Callum. You make hundreds of videos about anime for the internet.
Wow.
I do. It's an obsession now. I don't do anything else. I was in my pajamas before this. I'm just making another video. It's tragic, really.
Wait, why did you change out of your pajamas to come on MangaPod? We're not professional enough to go.
I like to pretend to the outer world that I've got something to be doing today. In reality,
No.
it's just back to pajamas.
Trousers are not required for this show. Sleep pants.
We're
always.
not manga pants pod. Are you good? I want to make sure I didn't interrupt you while you were still trying to. If you've never joined us for a manga pod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description, aka a summary, that will be read by our lovely guests, and then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations. Whether we think you should spend time going to read this manga or not. That way, if you do not want to be spoiled on it, you can take your leave after we dive into spoiler section, and then you can go read it and come back and watch the VOD of it on youtube.com/happilyerin. So let's go ahead and have our spoiler-free description, Mr. Cole.
Oh God, this is cruel. This is
I'm
genuinely
interested to see if you do it.
sadistic.
At least you had a chance to read it ahead of time. I had a chance. I just didn't take it, and so yours might be a little bit better than mine was last week. So let's hear it.
Okay. This is from Crunchyroll. I am fluffy. I am fluffy. I am. A super lethargic, light, fluffy comedy about Kokkuri-san by Kokkuri-san for Kokkuri-san. Tired office ladies and the like might want to read this completely lethargic, heartful (?) 4-panel comic. There's a lot I'd like to say about it, but if little girl cross hot guy sounds appealing to you, you should watch this. Who writes this stuff?
Maybe the weirdest summary we've ever had.
Oh yeah, nobody knew what I was talking about last week. They were like, it started with I am fluffy, and they're like,
Oh my god, yeah, I bet it was hilarious when you were like, you guys get to guess.
and it was silent. It was the longest it's taken them to ever do anything. So let's go around. Thank you. So let's go ahead and do spoiler-free recommendations. Would anybody like to go first?
I can go.
Okay.
I really like Gugure Kokkuri-san. I think that if you have never read a manga that's split up sort of like funny pages panels, like it's literally it's split up like small chunk, as though you're only reading like 4 panels at a time. And so the pacing of it is sort of non-existent, but I love how just ridiculous it is, and it just continues to get more and more and more ridiculous. I think that the characters are just so silly, and some of the jokes, I would say the anime sold better, but I still really enjoyed reading it. It maintained that sort of like weird cute that the anime had in abundance. So yeah, I would recommend it.
I want to counter that.
Oh, bring out the fists.
All right, I recommend the anime, not the manga. I couldn't get into it. Like the entire time I'm reading it, it's just there was no flow to it because it was all, set up punchline, set up punchline, set up punchline. It was just that for 28 chapters. And the thing is, I did it all in, I think, 2 readings. I read the first half, took like an hour break, and then read the second half. And I don't know, I just couldn't handle reading it that way. And maybe if I didn't watch the anime beforehand, those jokes would have had more impact and I would have gotten more out of it. But yeah, that's watch the anime, don't read the manga.
I'd
It's
like to
better.
counter that and say that you should read the manga instead. I think the anime had an issue in that the manga is a 4-koma. It's basically our version of Garfield, where you're meant to. I think they said something about office ladies or something, because it's meant to be just read on the train. It's meant to be. We did not read it in the ideal way. I think it's meant to be read over a long period of time. I think the anime has a problem where it's having to compress these small little skits into something longer. So I think the manga is better. I think the manga is funnier as well. It gets a bit meta at parts later on where it gets more confident with itself. It starts to really get comfortable with what style of humor it's going to do, because at the start it's obsessed with bringing in more and more characters, more and more ideas, bringing an alien at one point.
Best character.
So good.
Yeah. And so the manga, I think it's more confident with its comedy and structured better.
I am the only one who has not seen the anime, so I don't get to counter any of you. I get to go in with my own feels. Counter. I enjoyed the manga. I do think that by reading 3 volumes in a row, it was not the correct way to read it, like Helen was saying. It's definitely one that I think should be read in smaller spurts. Because it can get very, very repetitive. But I did think a lot of the humor was really enjoyable, and I really liked the characters, too. I was never emotionally attached to anybody, but I thought a lot of it, like, majority of it was really funny. I laughed out loud numerous times. So if you're looking for a comedy, this is one that you should definitely check out, but I wouldn't recommend reading it all in one go. I recommend...
I agree with that. I will concede on that like
Thank you.
Like I said, the pacing was like non-existent.
Yeah.
In this, it wasn't something that I was reading and going like, whoa, all of those chapters just flew by. Like that's not what happened at all.
No. And people in chat both on YouTube and Twitch are asking where to read it because it's not available like anywhere really. It is available on Crunchyroll though. All 3 volumes that we read are available on there, so you can go and check it out on there. So that closes out our spoiler free section. Let's jump into spoiler section. If you guys do not want to be spoiled, then now is the time to take your leave. Please do not spoil anything. I don't know if there's more. There has to be more than 3 volumes of this out, right?
I think there are 10 out right now,
So
but only 3 have been.
Yeah. Don't spoil anything past volume 3 or chapter 28 because we have not read past that, and also don't spoil anything for the anime that was not in. You're not confident was in the first 28 chapters because one of us hasn't watched it, so. And also, we don't want to spoil it for anybody in chat who maybe hasn't watched it either. If you are offended by spoilers, now's the time to take your leave. So let's go ahead and count it down.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Kokkuri-san is
Yamamoto's no.
Inagami
Yamamoto's
dies
God.
a lot.
I don't care. I like Kokkuri-san better.
Alien Kid is God.
Alien Kid.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yamamoto. See, Dodger, we can agree on one thing.
We can agree on this one thing. It'll keep us glued together as friends.
The one thing.
Look, you liked the anime, so I can't be upset with you.
Oh, okay.
You know?
No, guys. hate each other.
Fight!
It's way more
Where's the
entertaining.
drama?
Yeah, come
Aaron,
on.
you are such an instigator.
Fight. Alright, so usually we start with the question, what were you guys expecting before reading this manga? Now, since I can go first since I've never seen or anything. I've heard a lot of good things about the anime. A lot of people said it's really funny and cute and adorable, and so that's what I expected going into the manga, and that's exactly what I got. So, there it is.
Great.
I would say I didn't know that it was a Forcoma. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was going to be set up like a Kathy comic. That it was going to be like little snippets all tied together. So yeah, I was expecting, because I had watched the anime before, I was expecting something that I was just going to devour because it's so adorable and has characters that I think are so silly and fun, and it just constantly makes fun of itself, right? But it was so much slower than I expected it to be, because it was, like Lou was saying, it was like set up, punchline, and then the very next panel would be like a reset of exactly what you just read, and then that's the setup to the next punchline, and then reset and set up punchline. And I was like, okay, this goes a lot slower than I expected it to. But it was, I don't know, it was still fun, and I felt like the comedy was exactly what I expected from the anime. I thought that it still maintained that.
My expectations were set pretty high because I really enjoyed the anime. I thought it did a lot of interesting things with its characters, and I was hoping that they would transfer over to the manga, which for the most part they did. But lacking, see, one of my favorite parts of the anime was the voice acting. Like the voices just suited the characters perfectly, and it's just losing that aspect of it just caused me to not really connect with the humor the way I did when I was watching the anime. So part of my issue with it was the voice acting, or the lack of voice acting, and just the fact that I've seen the jokes already, so they weren't as funny. There was some stuff that was in the manga that wasn't in the anime, which I really enjoyed, and I kind of wish that there was more of it. And that, I think that would have improved my overall experience by leaps.
Yeah, I didn't actually know it was a full coma, because sometimes you get some anime that feel like they were adapted from it and then end up to be completely different. But I was pleasantly surprised, because I actually really, really like the structure of being able to go into something, read one chapter, get 10 jokes, and then leave. And obviously this time it was 28 chapters and then leave. But yeah, I ended up really enjoying it. It's weird with comedy series, especially when you've seen the anime, that it feels like, oh no, I'm seeing the same punchlines over and over again. But some of them were presented in different ways, and later on, it started getting kind of meta, and it started like, I think there's one point where Kokkuri says something about, oh, what's my personality like now? And then Kohina describes it exactly how the editor would describe it.
Yeah.
So those are the sort of jokes that just couldn't be in the anime, which I really enjoyed seeing in the manga.
Awesome. So, let's talk about characters first, because this is very much a character-driven.
Oh yeah.
In terms of story, plot-wise, what is plot really for this one? So let's talk about characters. What are your guys' thoughts? First of all, on Kohina.
I love Kohina so much. I love Kohina. I love that she's so straightforward and yet very complex. Like, she has these moments where she like feels a lot, but is trying so hard to maintain her like doll exterior that it winds up being the joke, right? Or it's like, it winds up contributing to the joke, and even when they have those heartfelt moments, it always gets ruined by something involving the other characters. And like, I don't know. I love Kohina. I love how blunt and straightforward she is with everybody while at the same time like kind of trying to take care of them. It's interesting. I think she's so adorable.
I really connected with her love of cup noodles.
Right? That girl loves her cup noodles.
Oh my god. Well, the part where he was like trying to get her to study for her final exams. He's like, I was gonna throw you a cup noodle party, and she instantly was just like, I got 100s on all of them. So good.
Literally every time Kohina doesn't want to do something, she can instantly be bribed with cup noodles, and I like that was a recurring joke that would happen where it's just like, no, I don't want that. I have cup noodle. All right, that's cool.
She's so serious about them, like you said, Lou.
Oh, yeah.
She's all about, like, she don't mess around with her cup noodles. She don't want
I love
nobody
how
else.
the premise to the Christmas arc was just, I want this cup noodles toy that's just on wheels. As if there's a market for cup noodle merchandise. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Hey man, you don't know. When was the last time you were in Japan? Maybe it was there. Maybe that's the thing that they like over there.
Huge fan now.
Yeah.
Cup noodles, man.
Yeah, eating them's just the beginning.
There's so much more to that fandom. The cup noodle fandom. Yeah, I love that Christmas part where she has such a debate about going to buy the cup noodle thing or the chicken, like she's supposed to.
Yeah.
She's like, do I buy the chicken? But there's the
Yeah,
cup
it's like-
noodle.
That's another thing that I'm so curious about now, and I wanted to look it up and I forgot to. But is like the bucket of chicken like a Christmas
Yes,
thing?
it is
in
KFC,
Japan?
Yeah,
and
it
it is
is.
a real thing.
It's amazing.
So funny. Yeah, I know. I'm like, that's my
Like,
kind of Christmas.
bucket of chicken, really? And one of those few times when I felt really bad for Inugami was at the end of that arc, when
my
he was
God.
like taking a really long time for them to get that chicken. He's like all by himself with like a little party popper. Like, where are they? God damn it, Inugami.
Nah, Inugami definitely deserves all that suffering though, considering how he acts
Oh
like
my
the
God.
rest of the manga.
So, such a weirdo.
And I like, not to like jump ship on characters, but like,
Yeah.
I love that despite how fluffy the whole, to use a term that we've heard way too much already,
I am fluffy.
despite how fluffy the whole story is and the characters tend to be, I love that there are super, super dark elements.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, Inugami happens when like a dog has been sacrificed. And it's like, what? Like all we know, like in terms of his memories, all we know is like, oh, he was in a box. And Kohino was really nice to him when he was in a box, and now he loves Kohino. And it's like, you were sacrificed by somebody. Like, that's
Dude.
really messed up, too.
Well, all of that was something that I noticed, like, throughout that kept sticking out was how dark the humor was. I was expecting it to be completely fluff the entire time. And then there would be this little fluffy dog being hung and pixelated because he's been hung.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't for children.
Yeah.
This is...
Yeah, and near the start, Kohina does this big backstory piece about her coming back to her house and everyone's been murdered.
Yeah.
And then it's a punch. They find a punchline there. Oh no, just kidding.
It's like, no, not really.
Yeah, my parents are totally alive and fine, but like we haven't seen her parents, so we're like, are
Yeah.
they though?
In that, like, panel, she's holding the severed head of her mother.
Yeah.
Like, in that drawing, I was like, wow, they went, it's like, they're gonna go deep.
Yeah, whatever happened to I am fluffy, I am fluffy, I am?
No kidding! It was a lie.
That's why they put a little question mark in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be like, disclaimer.
Yeah. And how she, at the beginning at least, she constantly threatens to like cut off Kokkuri's ears and stuff. I'm like, don't. It's
Yes.
mean.
Stop.
But speaking on the dark portions of the story, I think that they were probably some of my favorite parts, like the ghost of the man that was trying to visit his daughter on Christmas.
Yeah.
That was definitely one of my favorite parts. Or
Oh yeah.
wow, the god of what was his name? I forget. Shigaraki, I think was his name. The Tanuki.
Oh.
The
Yeah.
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 Him coming in the middle of the night to protect Kohina from
The spirit.
from the spirit that tastes the blood, and just seeing how she's like, oh, I guess I can't see them anymore. She's all miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's for your own good.
Yeah.
I like that they continued to draw the scar on his face. As it
Yeah.
went on. I liked that attention to detail that it did. Yeah, Kohina. So, like I said, I was I'm still confused. I'm like, are you a doll or are you human? I'm like,
She's definitely like a
I know you're human, but are you?
I mean, I think that following along that sort of like dark element that sort of persists in the whole thing, I think at this point there's been a lot of allusion to her creating this doll facade because she's like slightly sociopathic but also lonely and needs kind of a defense, you know, like something to put up so that she feels less alone and like it's okay.
Yeah.
And so like those elements like when she really misses Kokkuri at the beginning when he's left for a few days, and like obviously that turns into a dumb goof at the very end, but like she's like legitimately really upset that he's gone and having to like come to terms with like, I'm sad, I want him here. And then he's like, I knew if I just left for a few days that you would miss me and everything would be fine. And then she's like pissed off at him again. But yeah, those moments when she has to sort of come to terms with the fact that she's feeling stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the unique sort of comedy where the more you think of it, the sadder and more depressing it gets.
Yeah. Because, like, there's the flashback that Kokkuri had, too, with her.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, I mean, that was, like, one of the things that doesn't get played off as a joke, but I was expecting it to. It was like, there's a very few amount of moments where you're like, wait, where's the joke?
Waiting for the goof.
Yeah, then there's no goof. And then a few panels later, there might be a goof about it. You're like, wait, what?
They might be playing the long con. I bet they're going to like foreshadow it briefly every time, and then just end up like
totally.
Kahina says, "Oh, that wasn't me. That's my sister."
That was my cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they did play it out where like she her memory is so bad. Is what he's like, how is your memory that bad? You don't even remember what we had for dinner 2 hours ago? And she's like... but yeah, I love when Kohina does, like, she tries to keep, like you were saying, that doll facade, but especially when she's annoyed is my favorite thing, with how, like, she just shows it through blunt violence sometimes, especially to the dog.
She's still all stoic while she's just going ham. Just beating the crap out of everybody. Yeah, love that. But as much as I love angry Kohina, nothing beats Kohina smiling.
Yeah.
Kohina smiling is the best part of the
Like, wait, really smiling or trying to smile?
Yeah, that's why I laughed.
Okay, yes, trying to
with
smile.
the eyes smiling
is the best. Just,
yeah.
I love it.
But I love the punchline to that was the sadistic smile. It's like, oh, you can smile after all, and then completely fails again.
Her face is just so scared. Her facial expressions just make like her character perfect. If she looked like anything else, her character design was anything else, it wouldn't play nearly as well.
Yeah.
It has to be that character design for her, which is like, it's always so startling when they put her as like super moe kawaii girl with the big actual like anime eyes, and just, like sparkles everywhere, and super shoujo. I'm like, wait, that's not right. That's wrong. This isn't correct.
Yeah,
I prefer that design though. Like, I like her drawn all cutesy because it's a really nice design, and I wanted more of that. Yeah. Like, I agree
you don't
that
get more than that. You get that after you've finished all of your stoic
cup noodles.
Simple
Cup noodles.
I was going for a dessert after dinner analogy, but it completely flopped.
Good job, Callum.
Yeah, that's a wreck.
I liked it.
I liked
You don't need to be nice.
No, I did!
The difference, I like the difference as well between original Kohina from like the first iteration of her, and then Kohina once like the actual chapter started. Did you guys read the pre-chapters or did you just start on chapter?
Yeah, I read the pilot and then got very confused that none of it had been adapted.
I was like, what?
Yeah, side note, I loved that once chapter 1 started, they acted like they were going to rehash everything again, and then they just didn't.
Yeah.
They were like, we're not going to do all of that. Let's just compress it and then move on, and they totally pointed it out, which I thought was funny. But when I started reading the pilot, Sam was like looking over my shoulder, and he was like, that girl is terrifying. He was like, I don't know what you're reading right now, but she is terrifying looking. And like, just the difference in the eyes, for some reason, like, she still looks just as sort of lifeless and weird in both iterations, but the iteration that they stuck with the squared off eyes looks much less terrifying in like a weird way.
Yeah. Let's talk about Kokkuri-san. Kokkuri. Her guys' feels.
The perfect wife.
The perfect wife.
Perfect wife, yeah.
Definitely the mother type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that when he's introduced, the Hispanic character, you don't really expect to, like, be the mother type. So I love that they made it so believable that he is the mother type, just how he acts. It doesn't feel just like, oh, I want to make this character different for the sake of being different, so I'm going to give him this quirk. Bless you.
Thank you.
That is his character, and I love how it's just ingrained into everything that he does.
Yeah. To the point that he calls everybody else a stalker, and they constantly point out, like, you follow her everywhere, too. And he's like, that's because I'm concerned. I'm not weird like everybody else, okay?
It's like, my mother instinct.
Yeah.
There's this brilliant moment where he's just referencing what he does with his day. There's an entire chapter dedicated to his day, and so much of it is, chatting with the old women from the village about the latest sales on. That entire chapter is just perfect.
Such a good chapter.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, Kokkuri-san wakes up at 5 a.m. He makes the breakfasts depending on each one's palate. Oh my god.
He praises the dog for bringing in the paper, and Inugami like slapping his hand away.
So good. I love that he eventually, like, that mother instinct, he still can't stop it from, like, caring about the other people in the house, even though he doesn't want them there. Like, he slowly, when Dogboy starts to die more, he starts to really feel upset about it. He's like, no, God, we forgot something. And he's just dying. His poor his heart.
I love how Kokkuri and what was his name? Inugami bonded over their mutual hatred of cats.
Oh yeah.
It was just one little detail, like highlighting that they're both canines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, nope, they don't like cats. They're overrated. It was hilarious.
I think one of my favorite Kokkuri moments was when they found out that he was scared of technology. And so they put the cell phone circle around him and he just died instead of trying to find it.
I think, like, I have such a soft spot for Kokkuri because he's a character type, like, not necessarily in personality, but, like, he's a character type that I always love. He's the fucking silver-haired fox demon boy, right? And I'm just like, God, I've seen you in so many things. Like, Yu Yu Hakusho was my first, hot silver-haired fox demon boy. But there have been so many iterations of it since then, and I loved that this one was just, like, such a mother hen. And he's, like, so weird, and they constantly point out, like, all of these super weird things about him. And I love how constantly Kohina's like, what are you? Are you supposed to be, like, the hot character? Or, like, what is this? And he's just, like, so offended. And it's just, it just, like, makes me so happy to see that character type that I love so much just completely picked apart. I just love it.
And then, like, but they'll have random moments where people are like, fawning over him when he becomes a student, or when they go to the track meet, the sports meet or whatever, and there's other spirits just like, oh,
Kokkuri-san.
He's like, So they hint
But
that
then
he's super popular, but he like kind of schemes him out that he is.
But then Kahina managed to completely erase that later on, where like, oh yeah, we just hacked into the databases and just remove you from the school just to stop that ever happening again.
Oh, man, what about her bully? She had her
Oh.
bully chapter.
She appeared once, and then in the background another chapter. It's like they just did the joke and it's like, oh no, we're done with her now.
Yeah, she's done. I'm done with her. Because she had the vases from like the very first chapter.
Yeah,
Right, so
she
it's
started
like-
getting
Yeah.
she started getting the flowers like really early on. So it was a prepared joke in some ways at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just we haven't seen her again.
I know.
We
Well,
don't-
she was
and
in
nobody knows where she went.
She was at the end of chapter 28 getting
I was
her
gonna say she was
period,
at the very end.
Yeah.
but she didn't really do anything.
Yeah, I wanted her to become not necessarily like part of the group because obviously she would have to live in the house in order for that to
Yeah.
happen.
That'd
But,
be
like,
weird.
I wanted her to like more aggressively pursue a friendship, I guess, with
Mhm.
Kohina.
I didn't want her to be as throwaway as she seemed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they introduced some new like recurring thing like the vases, just for them to conclude with, oh yeah, it was her again,
Yeah.
having another attempt at friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could definitely be like another comedy of errors is going on. I think talking about like, oh no, let's talk about Old Man.
Oh yeah, I don't like him.
Old Man Spirit. Don't like him?
No, I don't.
Go on.
He's one of the few examples of a character that we've seen before in things, and like Inugami, like the masochist style character, we've seen that in other comedy shows, but I mean comedy manga. But Shigaraki being the oh yeah drunk old man stereotype, it feels kind of reminiscent of other stuff. It doesn't have that same uniqueness. Like he's got his moments, of course, but yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that character though. See,
Oh god.
as generic and overdone as it is, it's still funny. Specifically when Kohina or not Kohina, Kokkuri-san goes all gender bent. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'll stop drinking, I'll stop smoking, I'll stop gambling. It's just, I don't know, like that
He's
for
like-
me made his inclusion in the manga totally worth it.
For me, I cannot separate him from Jiraiya from Naruto.
Yeah,
like
that's
that's
it,
Yes!
that's it.
literally
Yes.
how I see him. I'm just like
Yes.
you're Jiraiya, but like in a different story, and it's so weird to me. But I don't know. Yeah, he definitely has moments where I'm like, oh, you're a fun character to have around, but for the most part, he winds up being like this nuisance character that's frustrating at times, I think. But then again, Inugami is also a very strong nuisance character.
Very strong news. There's times where I was like, I was so torn on Inugami. I was like, there's times where I like you, and there's times I'm like, why are you still here? Leave, just leave. And then there are other times where I'm like, but if he left, it wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel the same as Kokkuri about him.
It just
His-
completely creeped me out with
so
that the Thing reference, was it? Where his entire face just opened
Oh
up.
my god.
Oh my god,
yes.
the like parasite reference. Yeah,
Yes.
he was just
Yeah.
like
Oh,
my
that,
true
oh yeah, that
self.
would be Parasite.
And everybody's like, no, never mind.
Yeah.
So creepy. And then I like that there is the time later on when they're when Kokkuri is cleaning the house for New Year's, and they're all
Oh,
underneath
yes.
the thing, and they don't want to get out, and he pulls it off, and then all three of them attack him. I love that Inugami turns into that thing again. And like bites him. I was like, that's
I
a nice
think-
throwback.
That panel alone can pretty much sum up everything the series is. Because they've all got this ultimate attack, and you've got Kohina with knives there, and it's just beautiful. It's brilliant.
So good. Yeah, it's just the gore all of a sudden is really pretty.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
wow. I don't know. I really like the comedy in all of this. It was the kind of comedy I really enjoyed. Because I'm not a huge fan of, like, it's so bad it's good comedy at all. Like Monster Musume, like, that wasn't my thing. Like, ecchi comedy either doesn't really make me excited or anything. But this is the kind of comedy that just feels, like, witty and character-driven. I just really enjoy this kind of comedy. It felt, there were times where I was, like, Monty Python-y, I guess.
A bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Just very aware of itself.
Yeah, very aware. Like you said, meta. Can be very
Yeah. My problem is that it did feel that there was several times where I was just like, oh, maybe the next joke will be better. And because of the speed of which you can just get through a panel, then it kind of redeems it in a way. But yeah, I'm just imagining someone on the train reading through a panel, and then like it's like one stop or something, and they've managed to get through a few panels, going, "Oh, that was crap." Going now.
Yeah.
So-
It wasn't all good, but the stuff that I was good, I really enjoyed. But I do agree
Yeah.
that it was like it wasn't gold the entire time. Like
was-
there were a lot of chapters that I was like, okay, trying to get through because I was like, there's so much dialogue, and I'm just like this going on too long. I'm not really wanting had to slug through a few chapters, but there was a lot of times where the jokes I felt were really good, and then sometimes they were like.
One thing I liked about the. Go ahead.
Everybody tried talking at once.
All right. One thing I did like about it, despite being a four coma, was the fact that there was a heavy focus on continuity. Like there was a lot of referencing previous jokes, and in terms of like character progression, like it was there. So that's one thing that I didn't really expect from this as a four coma.
Yeah.
Like, that's something I would have expected to have been changed for the anime, but just the way it was, like I don't know. I like linear storytelling. Like I like the simple story where everything flows in a logical progression, everything makes sense, and the fact that everything was referencing back to earlier points just added on to that sense of, all right, there's a firm grasp on the continuity of the story and the characters. So that's just something I liked.
Yeah, I totally agree with that because I was thinking about that too. The fact that when you think of what we would think of as like a four coma here, like that you would read in a newspaper and like the funny pages, rarely, it's like very, very rare for a comic strip to come out that doesn't just stay the same the whole time. Like use the same characters in the same place in the same period of their life and make goofs around that but not really have anything about them change. And I think it's cool that this one really rewards the people who are reading it consistently by having things carry over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although you say that, but the Phantom, which is in our local newspaper, I only ever read the newspaper at McDonald's, like, whenever I end up going. So I'm just reading this slice of a story, and then 6 months later, it's like, oh, he's in a temple now.
I should have kept up.
Yeah, I should have been getting the newspaper every week, heading down to the store, just, what's the Phantom up to now, this 1930s superhero story.
Let's talk about art. What are you guys' feels about the art?
Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad.
That's basically my feelings.
I liked some of the character designs. I prefer a lot of the spirit characters in their animal forms, as opposed to their human forms, because the human forms felt more generic, as opposed to their anime forms. I guess kind of stood out because they had their animal forms, but they were like the human characteristics were still reflected on them, like Inugami wearing a suit while he was in his animal form.
But it is cool that because the entire time I was looking at Inugami, I just couldn't think of anything except for the protagonist of Persona 3, who has that same armband, the same suit, the same swept over hair.
I agree. I also feel like a manga like this that intends to sort of parody a lot of things, sometimes it's best that the art is generic. I don't know. I feel like if it were to stand out too much as being artistic or different in some way, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like it wouldn't work as well. Like the fact that Kokkuri looks like every single, shoujo handsome fox demon boy that I've ever seen. Like, I need that, right? Like, I need him to look exactly like those characters so that when they deconstruct him, I'm like, yes, yep.
Yeah. I really like the character designs, and as you said, it's this constant parody. But I think there is points where you'll see the main characters, and when they're not in animal form, I think there was a part where Inugami's face was like, it just had a massive longer chin on it for some weird reason. Then Kokkuri-san's head sometimes gets wider and slimmer. In the pilot, Kahina's head was anyone's game. It was just draw a circle. It's probably it now.
Yeah.
And there's odd points where it's like, oh, just go back to an animal form. At least you look consistent that way.
Yeah, I agree. I like the animal forms too. I like them a lot. Like you're saying, there were times where I felt like exactly what you said. The character designs were kind of inconsistent throughout, like, random moments. Like, they all basic look the same, but then there were moments where they didn't really. But they're also, like, this isn't a manga that calls for super crazy fancy art.
Yeah.
And so there were times where I appreciated that it was a little bit more straightforward. And so it made for the really big jokes to play a little bit better. Like, when in Yugami, they're cleaning and he says, "I'll take out the trash for you," and then he destroys everything. He's like, "Because everything but you is trash, my dear." So, like a big explosion. Like, they put like a lot of effort into that. So it's like, I appreciate it when it's like those moments, but those are very far and few in between. But yeah, like, it doesn't have to be. It's very standard art. Like, it didn't feel unique in any way to me. Like, the most unique thing about it was, I thought, was Kuina's character.
Yeah, a lot of it was about expressions, and you didn't really see a lot of background art, especially not detailed background art, because it's like, what are you looking over there for? Look at this expression. Look how crazy it is.
Yeah, and it doesn't need detail. It's like, we're here for the punchlines, not for pretty backgrounds, kind of a thing. So, alright, so we are at 8:15. Do you guys have anything else you would like to make sure to touch upon? Actually, let me ask a question before we can final thoughts or anything. What was your guys' favorite funny?
Kohina smiling. Kohina smiling is like my favorite funny, I think.
Wait. Anything involving Yamamoto. Alien Kid.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't talk about Alien Kid!
We didn't talk about Alien
Oh,
Kid.
He was the best guy.
Yeah.
Alien Kid,
Like, by far.
thoughts?
He was the best guy. That's it. That's the only thought we really need to share on Alien Kid.
Kohina
He did the
Alien
ET
Kid.
thing all the time.
OTP.
Alien X everybody.
Yeah, Alien X
Yeah.
everybody, OTP.
He's every alien film just crammed into one character.
I like how he's like, I am an Earthling.
Yeah.
Or when she's on his spaceship, and she's like, their minds look totally warped. He's like, you're imagining things. Look at these stars.
It's like, my house has come to pick me up. It's like, those houses, don't pick them up.
I love how he clings to Kokkuri-san too. He's just like, we're best friends, aren't we?
I feel like Alien Kid played better in the anime, though. I don't know.
I think it did somewhat, because they could really, like, show off those ET moments as well.
Yeah.
And I think the xenomorph bit was just especially shocking. Because it is just a normal frame of him, then suddenly
Yeah.
alien out of the mouth.
Yeah, I forgot about that. It's so
Yeah, oh yeah! So weird.
good. I love it.
It's like, oh, he's just taking care of his little sister, and somehow nobody's worked out.
So weird. Sometimes I could go, what the fuck? I was like, what? Yeah, okay, sweet. Final thoughts and ratings. Who would like to go first? Anybody? I know, I'm trying to think what my rating would be. I don't want to go.
I'll go first.
Hit it, Lou.
Okay,
Okay.
start the controversy.
Fight,
yes,
fight,
that's-
fight, fight.
All right. It was okay for what it tried to be. I feel like my experience with it was tainted by the anime and my preference of the anime. So, I still enjoy the characters. I still enjoy their interactions. Inugami like trying to bang Kohina is still really weird to me, but that's okay.
Oh, totally, yeah.
I don't know. Overall, it was a very average to below average experience. So I'll give it a 5.1 because I feel like being generous because like a lot of what you guys
That's not generous. There is no
Hey, that
physical
puts it at
reality
I
for
think
that regard.
That's a
That
higher
puts it
number than I
just
expected.
Yeah.
that puts it just above average. And a huge part of why it got that score is as we were having this discussion, like you guys were making some really interesting and valid points that kind of bumped it up because originally I was heading into this manga pod with the expectation of giving it like a 4 or 4.5.
So
But I
that's
feel
what-
like talking it out like
That's
made me
1.1.
appreciate certain parts of it. It's all because of
That's-
you, Callum.
It's always
Sure.
a count.
You did it.
This is
Callum.
what this 45 minutes has been. It's just been a 1.1. I'll take it.
You managed to get him up with 1.1. Oh gosh. I think I'll give it a 6.57 too.
Yes, go on.
572. I didn't think it wasn't horrible. It was really, I'll stick with that because that's not a bad score. That's not a bad score, you know? Again, it's not a bad score.
Would you like to go on?
No, I'm done.
It's not a bad score. It's not a bad score. Next.
Because I did really like it, but it did drag. I think my score would be higher if we hadn't read all of it in one go, probably. Just because it made, by reading all of it in one go, it made the pacing problems very evident, and that it was really hard to slug through some of it because it was so repetitive. And some of the jokes were pretty missed, but there were a lot of really funny things, and I really enjoyed the continuity and how it brought jokes, continued to bring certain jokes up, and how it sometimes overdid jokes to the point where they were even funnier at times, like the way Inugami constantly dying. There were times where I was like, okay, this is not as fun. Okay, now it's funny again.
It's
because
funny
they
again.
did it.
Yeah.
And Kohina is a great character, and the characters are really great. Some of it's really weird, but I enjoyed most of it. But I also had some issues with it. So yeah, but it was good. It was good. Not
Yeah.
a bad score.
I was aiming for the 6.5 range as well, because I enjoy it. I love the characters. I do think that the anime does it better. I think that the pacing of this isn't what you want it to be when you start reading because of just what it is. But I'm glad that we read it, and I do think that it maintains that feel of creepy cute. I think the whole thing is very creepy cute, and I think that it takes a lot of tropes and makes fun of them in a way that's really funny. But if I was going to recommend one or the other, I think that the anime did it really well. So, yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, I'm probably sitting around 6. I really, really like parts of it, but they're not enough to make me eagerly await the next chapter or eagerly wait for the next volume. Go, what's gonna happen in this epic tale next? I do really like 4 Koma. Some of my favorite manga are 4 Koma, and it's just I feel there's so many better ways they could have done it. There's a whole chunk at the start where they seem to do one joke, then get bored of it for a bit, then introduce new characters, and it felt a bit desperate at times. That's not the right word at all, but that's how it felt.
Yeah.
And but later on, I liked it more, and I do think that if I would have read it in the intended way, on a train probably, then I probably would have liked it more. But yeah, a 6. It's more than I gave the anime though,
Oh.
by like 0.5.
By point one.
Just
Yeah.
just
Why would it make
0.1
all the
minuscule.
difference?
What makes all the difference? Alright, awesome. That wraps up our... Wait, no, Lou. Everybody went, right?
Yeah.
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 Okay, for a second I was like, oh my god, I forgot about Lou.
I gave it the 5.1.
But you gave it the... I forgot about
We're all done. We've all given our scores. So
You
that
did
wraps
wraps up our discussion on Kokkuri-san. If you guys want to take a recommendation, you should definitely go and read it on Crunchyroll. And if you're just now joining us, you missed us discussing it, but you can watch the VOD of this later on youtube.com/happilyyarn. So now we are going to read the description for the manga that we are reading next week, and y'all get to guess it.
Do I get to guess?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though I already know what it is.
Oh,
No.
There's one
Come.
I fully expect
Come.
chat to get in like
Oh.
2 seconds.
Yeah, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
not going to be a Gugure Kokkuri-san experience.
Goo goo.
I am
Spelling
Fluff.
is half the
I am
battle.
Fluff, I am. Strange murders are happening in Tokyo. Due to liquid evidence at the scene, the police conclude the attacks are the results of blank blank blank. College buddies blank and blank come up with the idea that blank are imitating humans, explaining why they haven't ever seen one. Little do they know that their theory may be very well become reality.
Come on,
I
guys.
messed it up so that people would have a harder time guessing.
That's totally Naruto.
Blank 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 blank.
You know,
Yeah.
some of these make it really hard to
Yeah.
like read and be like, guess it.
Get any actual information
Yeah.
out? Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, I think it was Attack on Titan that had the most blanks.
Blue Frost got
The
it.
blanks are blanking.
Oh yeah.
Yay! It is Tokyo Ghoul. We are finally returning to it, so everybody who is yelling at us about not reading it, we are reading more of it, so you can stop. Literally every MangaPod, it's, are you reading more Tokyo Ghoul?
When are you reading Tokyo Ghoul /
Something
Tower of
about
God?
the TGs, Tower of God and Tokyo Ghoul.
I know.
Just, people get really upset when we don't read more of it. Yes, we are reading Tokyo Ghoul. I'm actually super excited.
Me too.
About it. I'm stoked to go back and read that. We are reading chapters 4 through 6, 30 through 58, volumes 4 through 6.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be a short one, boys. Don't worry about it.
Volumes 4 through 6, chapters 30 through 58, with Nick Robinson returning as a guest, which will be real good, guys. So look forward to that. So let's go ahead and shout out our stuff super quick. I'm Aaron of Happily Aaron. I do weeb shit on the YouTube shit. All previous MangaPods are hosted on my YouTube channel. I haven't put up an anime related video other than MangaPod in a while. I'm hoping to change that soon. If you would like to find me on any other social media, you can find me as Happily Aaron all across everything.
I'd just like to point out that it was amazing that most of your recommendation was, watch this podcast.
Yep. That's what I am. I'm MangaPod now. That's all.
Aaron is MangaPod. Hi everybody, I'm Dodger. You might be watching this show on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/dexteritybonus. I also have a YouTube, youtube.com/pressarttocontinue. I play visual novels and dating sims and point and clicks and lots of just story-based stuff. And on all the social medias, I'm at Dexbonus, DEXBONUS. So come hang out.
Ooh. My name is Lou, and I'm from Lou Talks Anime. You can find me at youtube.com/Lou Talks Anime now, where I bullshit at length about anime. It's been a while, but I'm working on a script right now, so my little break is coming to an end. Main reason for the break is because I've been focusing on putting together a podcast with some of my friends called the Anime Association.
Woo!
We've already released our first episode, and you could find it if you just search Anime Association on YouTube. It should be one of the first things that comes up.
What's the
little
X
channel
in it? In the it's
alright, you know how
AXX. What's the X?
You know how in Hunter x Hunter the X is silent?
what I
Oh,
thought it was!
yeah.
That's why.
Oh, that explains it. That's been keeping me awake at night.
You can follow the podcast at AXA Podcast, and you can follow me on Twitter at LuTalksAnime, and that's all my stuff.
I hate self-promoting. I just feel awful.
We all just did it
Just
shamelessly.
shout out,
Yeah, I know.
shout out to youtube.com/happily/mangapod.
Yeah, you should watch MangaPod. You should all right now type into your URL bars www.youtube.com/the Canipa. I do anime videos. Oh, actually, might as well shout this one out. I did a really cool video on Studio Madhouse that took me 2 weeks of research, and it basically
Yes.
talks
So good.
about. Oh, thank you.
It was really good.
It talks about basically the changes that happened in Studio Madhouse around 2011. I've got a new video coming up on Project Ito, who they're making films about. That's really cool because I've managed to reconstruct his entire life based on accounts from Hideo Kojima, his defunct blog, and it's been a nightmare to put together. But yeah, cool, informative videos about anime industry and anime, and a One Punch Man animation thing that everyone likes.
Woo! Awesome.
Hey,
Thank you so
Callum.
much for coming on.
Callum, so Glenn doesn't stab you. Don't forget to mention
Oh
anything.
shit! Oh my god!
Oh
Thank
no!
Oh, Glenn would murder me. Russ as well. Also, I don't run. I'm a host of a podcast called Anyfix. It's a fun time where we all hate each other.
Yep, that's pretty legit. That's it.
That's about right. Sounds about right. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Callum. You were awesome as a guest, and we'll definitely
problem.
love to have
It's
you
been
back
fun.
on. Awesome.
I hope that's not just the gratuitous. Yes, we'd love to have you back. Immediately removes, sends out assassins.
And
You were lovely,
removing from
Callum.
call.
Promise.
No, you were awesome. Thank you so much. You were great.
Cool.
And thank you to everybody who watched us both on twitch.tv/dexterityBonus as well as youtube.com/happilyaron. We appreciate you hanging out with us for an hour, and if you're watching the VOD of us, thank you so much for also hanging out with us for an hour. And we'll say hi to you right now.
Yeah. Even if they're 2 weeks later.
Yeah,
Hi,
or
from the
3 years
past.
later, something. Hello. If you would like more MangaPod, you can check out our subreddit, reddit.com/r/MangaPod, and you can also check out our Hummingbird group. Links to that are in the description on YouTube. Our Reddit has threads for you to see all of our upcoming manga, as well as the thread for you to recommend future manga that you would like to see us read on future MangaPods. So there, we will be here same time, same place next week, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, reading Tokyo Ghoul, volumes 3 through 6, 30 through chapters 30 through 58. I remember that part with
Yep.
Jacob.
Yes.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Hang on. Bye. There we go. Wait. Bye. There we go.